I totally forgot to do like the little intro segment cuz I'm an idiot. Am I even streaming right now or am I speaking to nobody? It's not even like I just have like the little intro screening thing and I just forgot to do it. Okay, yeah, it looks like I'm live. um yeah, like this is what I'm talking about. Hold on, wait. Like this whole thing, I just forgot to do it. I was just like, you know what? I'm good. I don't need to do that. I don't need it. But whatever. Okay, whatever. Unprofessionalism. Here we are. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Nerdy Movie News Roundup, the show where we round up all of the latest news in the world of nerdy movies. Not too much stuff to talk about today, to be honest, but it's pretty interesting and significant to say the least. So let's just get right into it. There's the first segment where we talk about trailers. But we only got one trailer this week, and it is for Thor: Love and Thunder. Long awaited. This is so I believe I haven't actually fact checked this, but I've heard it on Twitter, so it must be true. This is the closest to a release that Marvel has ever put out a trailer. I think before this it was Spider-Man: Far From Home or No Way Home, Homecoming, Homeward Bound, whatever the last one was. Um, but I think this surpassed it, and it's kind of weird. I'm not sure exactly why they would have done it because it's not like part of me was wondering like are they going to wait until after Multiverse of Madness so that maybe the trailer would spoil that or something, or maybe something it ties in with Moon Knight or something, but not really. At least not that this trailer indicates. So I'm not, but honestly I'm not mad at it because I don't think there's really any much use in putting out a trailer too far ahead of a film's release. Like, I think this comes out in like June or July. And you know what? The trailer came out. It's massive, and the hype that this trailer built up is going to lead right into the movie. It's like you put it out a year early. There's a ton of hype. Then there's nothing. Then you have to make another trailer to rebuild the hype. So, honestly, whatever reason they had, I actually think it's pretty smart, and I think it's going to work out for them. But whatever. The trailer itself, I liked it. I'll be honest. I actually didn't love Thor Ragnarok. Which was of course directed by Taika Waititi, and Taika Waititi came back for this. But I liked it. Don't get me wrong. Do not misconstrue my words. I just I don't know. I guess I personally preferred, and I know that I'm like the only person on the planet that has this opinion, but I personally preferred the more like Shakespearean uh, uh, tone of the first two Thor movies. I actually really liked all the Asgard stuff in those movies. I didn't love the human stuff, like the Earth stuff as much, but I actually really dug like whenever they were on Asgard and it was just kind of like Shakespearean drama. Um, and then they just kind of threw that away in Thor Ragnarok, and it became a lot more of a comedy. And I thought it was funny. Don't get me wrong, but I thought it lost. I didn't think it was quite as compelling as the first two Thor movies, but I'm not gonna sit here and yell too much about it because obviously like everyone loves Thor Ragnarok. So I mean that like Thor Ragnarok is when Thor kind of became like an A-lister in the MCU. So it is what it is, and this definitely looks interesting. Like I like the element of Thor. Basically this movie is going to be about Thor finding himself and figuring out who he wants to be or whatever. A journey of self-discovery, if you will. And I definitely think that that's interesting. I think that where he's left off in Endgame definitely calls for a movie like this. Um, and so yeah, I think that's gonna be interesting. We see the Guardians in here. I think that's super interesting because with the way this trailer kind of indicates that Thor is gonna be with the Guardians at the beginning of the movie. It'll probably open with Thor being on a mission with the Guardians, and then my guess is he's gonna be like, I don't really want to do this superheroing anymore, and then he's gonna leave them. So that kind of makes me think that the Guardians aren't actually gonna be in it all that much. That being said, there were some like images of Marvel Legends toys for Thor: Love and Thunder that that had well, it was like the boxes of the toys, like, and one of the boxes was a Star-Lord toy. So if they went so far as to make a toy for Star-Lord for this movie specifically, that kind of indicates to me that there's probably or Star-Lord is probably going to have a significant role in this. Like maybe not like the Guardians themselves, like the entire team, but I actually do think that Star-Lord at the very least is going to be a lot in this, a lot more than we might have expected. So that all looks good and fun. I like I actually really like Chris Pratt and Chris Hemsworth. I like their dynamic. But yeah, and then at the end of the trailer we get Natalie Portman as Thor. That's a little image that I have here. Um, I think she looks great. Like, and I'm just gonna say it. You know, don't judge me, but yes, I do want her to choke me out. I'm sorry. That's what can I say? What do you want me to say? But no, seriously, like Natalie Portman clearly put on some muscle for this, which is really, really cool. And yeah, like I don't want to say too much about what her storyline could potentially be because I do know of it. I haven't actually read all of her comic. I read like one of them, I think, like literally one issue, a long time ago. But from what I understand of how Jane Foster in the comics becomes Thor, that could lead to a very interesting and very compelling story. So I actually am like going to be really interested to see what they do with this. Um, but yeah, but that being said, like I don't really know how exactly she becomes Thor. I just know kind of what happens after she becomes Thor. So I wonder yeah, like I definitely wonder how this comes to be. Like I wonder if maybe she works for the government or something and they start experimenting with Thor's like broken Mjolnir. Because now that I think about it, after Hela broke it in Ragnarok, I don't think they showed him like scooping up the pieces or something. He probably just like left him, just left the hammer there, and I guess the government was like, well, let's figure out how do we put this back together, and then maybe they call up Jane Foster because she knew him, and she figured it out, and then she became worthy or something. So I don't know, but yeah, definitely going to be cool to see her in this. All right, Thor: Love and Thunder trailer was good. I liked it. Now let's move on to our first story of the day. Remember the Minecraft movie? This is a movie that has been in like development hell for like it feels like a decade, honestly. Probably not a decade, probably more like 7 or 6 years. But yeah, so this movie was kind of in development, and then I'm pretty sure they just stopped. But then it looks like they're looking back into making it. So this is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. Aquaman and Dune star Jason Momoa is lining up another tentpole with Warner Brothers. The actor is in final negotiations to star in the studio's live-action Minecraft movie. The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. Napoleon Dynamite filmmaker Jared Hess will direct the project based on the popular video game. So, 3 things of note here. First of all, Jason Momoa is going to be in this movie. Well, he's in final negotiations, which most of the time when an actor is in final negotiations, it basically means the studio wants the actor wants to be in the movie, and then they just have to figure out sort of the particulars of the contract. So Jason Momoa is more than likely going to be in this. That's fine, I guess. I don't. That's actually like the least interesting thing about this to me. Like I don't know if he's going to be playing Steve or just an original character, but whatever. Jason Momoa is fine. What worries me is the fact that it is going to be a live action movie. That's really weird to me. I don't even really know what that means. Like I can't really figure out how you make a live action Minecraft movie that feels like Minecraft. Because I feel like if you tried to make it live action, it's like, oh, okay, it's just a movie about a man surviving in the wilderness. It's like, what? or it's just like, if you made a live, even if you used, because the thing about Minecraft, right, is that there isn't really like an explicit story being told. You know, there's no like narrative unfolding. It's just a survival game where, you know, you try to survive and you can build stuff. But the story is just not really there. People have like gone in and they've kind of like deduced what some lore of it, of of what like the world building is, but that's not like a narrative that is unfolding as you're playing the game. It's you have to like go out of your way and kind of interpret certain things. So there's no explicit story being told. So I will say this. When you're making a Minecraft movie, it's not like there's a narrative that you can just pull from. Like, you're going to have to do your own thing to a certain extent. I get that. Live action does not seem to be the way to go. Like, this is a video game movie that absolutely should be animated. Unless like it's going to be live action but like the people are going to be like grotesque, like realistic looking block people. That could be funny, at least. Like, if they were just like these disgusting, like fleshy block people running around, that could be cool. I don't think they're gonna do that though. But yeah, and then Jared Hess, that's a weird choice, man. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Napoleon Dynamite. I never actually watched Nacho Libre, but I like Napoleon Dynamite, so like I have nothing against the guy, but like him making a Minecraft movie, I don't really. I don't like that. I don't know. That's just weird. That's just really weird to me. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like video game properties are kind of popping off, right? We saw Sonic the Hedgehog has been a massive success. Uncharted was a success for Sony. Detective Pikachu didn't actually, they didn't decide to go forward with a sequel, but I mean, people liked that movie, and it was financially successful, so we're now going to get an onslaught of video game adaptations. Of course, they're going to make a Minecraft a movie or show or something, because it is, of course, the most popular game of all time. So I'm not surprised that this is happening, but I question the direction that they're going with it. Okay, next up. There's a new Star Wars game in development. Jedi Fallen Order 2 is going to happen at some point, but this isn't Jedi Fallen Order 2. Let's just read over on Deadline. Revealed Tuesday by New Media's Amy Hennig, Skydance will work with Lucasfilm to develop and produce a richly cinematic action-adventure game featuring an original story in the legendary Star Wars galaxy. Oh, sorry, I got like a hiccup while I was talking, and I thought I was going to die for a second. News of the Star Wars project comes several months after Skydance New Media unveiled the development of a Marvel game back in October. So this is interesting. So this is a this is a brand new studio. They haven't released a game yet. And it seems like it was founded by Amy Hennig and some other people. So if you don't know who Amy Hennig is, she's basically the grandfather of like the modern day Sony game, right? She made the first 3 Uncharted games, which pretty much set the stage for us to get The Last of Us and 2018 God of War, even stuff like Marvel Spider-Man and Horizon Zero Dawn to a certain extent, because she kind of pioneered this like new age of, hey, let's make a game that feels like a movie and is actually like decent and like actually as good as like some really good movies, right? Like she kind of pioneered this sort of new wave of really genuinely like narratively well done games. But the thing is that she hasn't really done anything since Uncharted 3, which was in 2011. Like I know she was actually working on a Star Wars game that eventually got canceled. I think when EA and Disney signed a new deal for Star Wars, I think that the game that she was making ended up getting canceled because of that. And I think it was going to be a Boba Fett game. And there was some leaked footage that came out of it, and it actually looked really promising. So obviously people have been like saddened ever since because that game got canceled. So it's super interesting that she's going to come back and actually make a Star Wars game. I doubt it's going to be like a revival of that Boba Fett game, because I mean, there's just so much red tape surrounding that. That's probably not going to be a thing. But I mean, they could technically make a Boba Fett game and be like, well, it's not the game that we were making, or it's kind of the game that we were making, but don't tell, we're not going to go to court over it. So but it's a Boba Fett game, but it's not the game that we were making. I guess they could kind of do that. But I don't think they will. Like, I don't even know that Amy Hennig would want to go back. My guess is that she's probably going to want to do something new. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, listen, an Uncharted game or a Star Wars game that's inspired by Uncharted, that's in the vein of Uncharted, or even stuff like The Last of Us or God of War. I mean, yeah, that definitely could be cool. That being said, we don't know anything about what this game is going to be, so we're just gonna have to wait to get more news on it. And it's also interesting that this studio, Skydance New Media, I mean, they're an independent studio, I believe, but they're kind of operating as a Disney Games studio because they're working on a Star Wars and a Marvel game. So that's definitely interesting. We also don't know what that Marvel game is either. I'm just saying, I need to put this out in the ether. Let me just drink some water first. I want a Daredevil game. Daredevil is the only superhero left that I'm like actively desiring a game of them, you know? Like, I know everybody wants a Superman game. Like, I kind of have doubts that would work. I'm not going to get into that, but and honestly, like, on the Marvel side of things, it's like we have Spider-Man, we're going to get Wolverine, I guess, but I don't have any, like, active desire for any other Marvel character to get a game. Give me a Daredevil game. I need a Daredevil game. I want a Daredevil game with the gameplay of Sifu. If you don't know what Sifu is, look it up. Imagine there's hallway fight scenes. I'm assuming they were inspired by Old Boy, but but still, Daredevil also, they could do the hallway fight scene in the game. Give me. I need a Daredevil game with that gameplay. Get those. I honestly would rather get those guys to do it, but maybe these guys could probably get those guys to develop the gameplay, and then get Amy Hennig to write the story. Boom. It's probably not going to be a Daredevil game, but it could. Honestly, I don't even know what they would do at this point, because I don't know. It's probably going to be like an Iron Man game or like a Captain America game. It's going to be like, okay, whatever. I guess repulsor vest. Captain America. Oh, I threw the shield and it bounces, but I just want a Daredevil game. Give it to me. Okay, I need to contain myself. Oh yeah, I also have this here. So this is every AAA Star Wars game in development. So that's currently in development. We have a Jedi Fallen Order sequel. This is being developed by Respawn. That same developer is also developing a Star Wars first-person shooter. Now, Respawn, they also developed Titanfall, which I've never played, but Titanfall 2 was supposed to have like an amazing campaign. So Respawn is definitely the people that you'd want to be developing a Star Wars first-person shooter. We have Star Wars Eclipse by Quantic Dream, which is rumored to be kind of in development hell because I think they can't hire. They're having trouble like hiring people for the game. Which, by the way, can I just say, if you haven't been in active development on a game, don't reveal it, because this is the game that at the Game Awards they put out like this stupid CGI trailer. Why would you put out a trailer for a game that's not in active development yet? Don't put out a trailer until until you've been developing the game for a while. Why would you do that? What is the matter with you? It's so stupid. Okay, sorry. Whatever. Star Wars Eclipse, it'll be here in 2030 probably. And then Skydance New Media, we just talked about, they're making an action-adventure game that's going to be a game in the vein of Uncharted. And Ubisoft is also making a story-driven open-world game, so that's going to be a thing too. And then Asper Media is making a Knights of the Old Republic remake. So, listen, it looks like it's going to be a pretty decent time to be a Star Wars fan. And I would imagine that, especially after the precedent that Jedi Fallen Order set, which I haven't actually played that game, but everybody loves it, I imagine these games are going to be of a decent quality. Like, that's probably what Lucasfilm, like, they're probably at the point now where they're like, hey, you're making a game. It's not going to be some Battlefield nonsense, all right? You know, some microtransaction riddled thing. Jedi Fallen Order, people like that. Make that. That's what we want. So, yeah, I'm pretty confident that these are going to be of decent quality, you know? Oh, geez. I'm sorry. I was just, like, adjusting my light. And then I was like, ugh, I moved it too much. Okay. Next up, title of the stream, Ezra Miller has been arrested again. Because why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he get arrested? I don't understand why you would expect him not to. All right, let's read the thing from Variety. Miller was arrested early Tuesday morning after an incident at a private residence in Pahoa, probably. Patrol officers responded to a report of an assault that occurred at a get-together in the Leilani Estates subdivision in Lower Puna. According to the Hawaii Police Department, Miller allegedly became irate after being asked to leave and threw a chair, striking a 26-year-old woman on the forehead and resulting in an approximate half-inch cut. The woman refused treatment for the injury. Police arrested Miller at 1:30 a.m. after the actor was located on the roadway during a traffic stop at the intersection of Highway 130 and Kukula Street in Kikau. Miller was released at 4:05 a.m. after conferring with the county's prosecutor's office pending further investigation. The investigation remains active. I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, this is just ridiculous at this point. I put it in the title of the video because you can't release a Flash movie with this guy as the Flash. I don't see how Warner Brothers does that. Like, they could, like, he was in Fantastic Beasts, right? And you can kind of get away with that because you can just put out the movie. Ezra Miller wasn't the main character or anything. You're obviously not going to put him on the press tour. It is what it is. You can't do that with the Flash movie. You can't have a Flash movie where the Flash isn't doing press. And you can't get this guy to do press. Like, here's the thing. For them to, like, reshoot the movie, obviously that's going to cost, like, hundreds of millions of dollars because he is the Flash. He's probably in, like, 80 to 90% of the scenes. But at this point, I think you swallow the money because I don't know how you release a movie like that. Unless, now, here's the thing that's kind of surrounding all of this. Warner Brothers Discovery, they bought Warner Brothers, and it was made a solidified thing last week. Now, in their words, they said that they're looking to do a complete overhaul, or it's not in their words, it's what Variety reported, but whatever. The wording was that Warner Brothers Discovery is looking to do a complete overhaul of DC and of the DCEU. Maybe, and honestly, I think this is an option. Maybe you pull this off and not make it a theatrical release and you just drop it on HBO Max. And then just, then that'll give you more leeway to do your overhaul or whatever that means. Because listen, obviously you're throwing hundreds of millions of dollars on the table. But then the other option is you spend hundreds of millions of dollars to redo the movie. Because, I don't know. Here's the thing. Like, does the general public really care about this? They probably won't. Right? Like, let's just assume that Ezra Miller gets his act together and he doesn't do anything by the time this movie releases in 2023. The general public they're going to go watch it either way. I'm going to watch it. What am I kidding? I'm going to watch it. This is my job, but I'm still going to watch it. Even if it wasn't, I don't know that I'd be like, I stand in protest to Ezra Miller and I will not see the Flash. I probably wouldn't do that. So on the one hand, they probably could just get away with releasing it if we're being real. But still, it's like, really? Really? After what this guy did, he's straight up assaulting people, choking women, throwing them on the ground, assaulting a guy just minding his own business, playing darts, breaking into somebody's room, threatening to kill the guy, calling his wife a slut, and now straight up throwing a chair at a woman, hitting her in the head, cutting her forehead. You can't. He can't be the Flash. Like, how? Like, that'll actually, it's going to be insane if in 2023 I am sitting in a movie theater watching The Flash starring Ezra Miller. That's going to be crazy. So I don't know what they're going to do with this, but I just can't see Ezra Miller being The Flash anymore. But yeah, let me know what you think about all of that. Like, what do you think should be done, if anything should be done? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, next story. Rebel Moon has finally started filming. Zack Snyder announced it on Twitter. If you don't know what Rebel Moon is, basically after Zack Snyder was yeeted from the DCEU, Netflix kind of swooped in and they were like, hey, we'll make your movies. Why not? And so now he basically has two cinematic universes at Netflix, where he has his Army of the Dead universe that he started. And now he's also starting this Rebel Moon thing, which I believe, like, the concept for Rebel Moon is like a rejected Star Wars pitch that he made to Disney. And now he's just kind of turning it into his own movie. So I don't know. It looks cool. That's Jaimon Hansu. I like that actor. It is what it is. You know, it looks cool, I guess. And I'll be interested to see what this is. You know, I don't hate Zack Snyder. You know, I did hate Army of the Dead. I'm not gonna lie to you. And you know, the most offensive part of that movie was just the cinematography. It was so blurry. Like, I literally got a migraine watching that movie. And you can say that it's a stylistic choice, but it was a bad stylistic choice. Like, I don't even care about the story. The story wasn't good. You know, but that movie physically hurt me. Okay, I endured physical pain watching that movie. So hopefully he just keeps the image in I'm forgetting what it's called. When I was going on a rant, I was gonna end it on a high note and focus. That's the word I was thinking of. Jesus, I don't know what's going on with me. Okay, next story. Fast 10. So yeah, they announced the title. It's just going to be called Fast 10 for the next Fast and the Furious movie. Vin Diesel announced it on his Instagram. Am I the only one that thinks this looks like a porno? Is it just me? Like, this kind of looks like a porno, right? But yeah, it's Fast and the Furious 10. I like the Fast and the Furious franchise. I even like the last one that I know a lot of people didn't like. I don't know. I'm like, people are like, oh, it really jumped the shark. I'm like, have you not seen the other Fast and the Furious movies? They jumped the shark a long time ago. Like, whatever they do now at this point, I don't care, you know? It is what it is. So, whatever. I like the Fast and the Furious movies, so I'll watch this when it comes out. All right, last story of the day. It looks like Echo has started production. So Alakwa Cox, the actress who plays Echo, this is an Instagram post of hers. Basically, at Kadevari Jacobs, don't know who that is, decided to surprise me with these beautiful flowers before the first day of filming tomorrow. Now, it's very possible that perhaps Alakwa Cox has another project. My guess is that it's Echo. Like, that just makes the most sense. And honestly, I'm a little mixed on Echo, because I liked Alakwa Cox in the role, and I like the character overall. But I didn't really like how they utilized her in Hawkeye. And I think my biggest problem with it was that I feel like what they did with her at the very end should have been like the plot of her show. Because I don't know, like, it felt very rushed and not earned, like her whole confrontation with Kingpin. I feel like it would have better served them to, like, tease that and then let that roll out over the course of an Echo show. Because it's like, she presumably shot him right in that alley. We didn't see it, but that's what's implied. So I'm like, is Kingpin gonna? I'm assuming he's gonna survive that, and then he's gonna, like, run away, and then Echo's gonna go after him again. It's just kind of weird. But either way, I mean, I like the character overall. It's the it was a shame that she was in a mediocre show. Ooh, shots fired. Hawkeye wasn't that good. I don't think that's a controversial statement. But I like the character and the actress, so I'm definitely open to her show being good, especially considering that, Kingpin is most likely going to be in it, and I'm also suspecting Daredevil's going to be in it, just because why wouldn't he be? I kind of feel like this show is going to be kind of like a gateway to introduce properly, Daredevil and, well, Kingpin was already introduced properly, but Daredevil was just kind of a cameo in No Way Home. Hopefully he's an actual character here. But yeah, again, like I've said before, the way they handled Kingpin and Hawkeye makes me very worried for how they handle Daredevil and Kingpin in the future. So, please be good. Please don't just not understand or not utilize the characters in just the most baffling way possible, like you did with Kingpin and Hawkeye. Pretty please, with a cherry on top. All right, so those were all the stories of the day. Now let's get into what I watched. I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once All the Time. This is a movie. It's out in theaters right now. I kind of don't want to talk too much about it because I feel like it's a movie that, like, if you haven't heard about it, because it's a smaller movie, you should just go in and watch it, because I'll say this, it's amazing. Like, there's been a lot of hype about it on Twitter, and they were right. This is a fantastic movie, and I feel like it's best served if you just kind of go into it not knowing what's going to happen, because what I'll say is that it's definitely weird, it's definitely crazy when wacky, but it also has a lot of heart. I felt emotions, I thought about my life, I teared up at bits, and it's just a fantastic movie. So yeah, I don't want to say too much about it, but definitely just go out and watch it. Sorry. Okay. I also watched Moon Knight episode 4. I guess I'll spoil it if you haven't watched it at this point. Like, how are you watching a show called Nerdy Movie News Roundup and you haven't watched the latest episode of Moon Knight? Like, let's be real with ourselves. Yeah, Moon Knight episode 4. I really enjoyed it. I've been really enjoying Moon Knight overall. It's been a breath of fresh air. I'm not gonna lie, because I loved WandaVision and I loved Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, these two shows are incredible. Like, Disney Plus seems like it's going to be just a place where creatives can be like super can tell really interesting stories that maybe they can't tell on the big screen. And then we got Loki and What If and Hawkeye, which, like, at this point for me, and obviously we haven't finished Moon Knight, but it's like my ranking is like WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier are like genuinely amazing shows. Moon Knight is like really solid. Still hasn't reached the highs of those shows, but still really solid. And then Loki and What If and Falcon and Hawkeye are just kind of swimming in a pool of mediocrity down here. But yeah, Moon Knight has been, like I said, a breath of fresh air so far, because it's been a long time since I've really enjoyed a Disney Plus Marvel show. And yeah, so I really liked all the stuff in the beginning. It kind of felt like an Indiana Jones sort of, the Mummy sort of fun romp, treasure hunting romp, and I thought that was really cool. I really liked the elements of horror that they added with the weird zombie guys. Like, that was actually pretty effective when it happened in the show. And I like seeing Mark or Steven sort of develop his relationship more with Layla. Seeing Mark is actually like a decent guy, and he's not just gonna kiss Layla without getting without letting her like really understand Mark first. I thought that was pretty interesting. Kind of speaks to just how good of a guy he is, and yeah, just Oscar Isaac continues to just kill it. Like, the way that he's able to just, honestly, a lot of times without even speaking, you can just tell when he is Steven and tell when he is Grant by just the way that he carries himself. It's super impressive. I mean, surprise, surprise, Oscar Isaac is a fantastic actor, but still, it's crazy that his performance is off the charts, as the kids would say. And then yeah, like the the ending, this is where I'm at right now. I think that I think that I do think that everything that we've seen happened, maybe not exactly as it's been presented to us, but I do think that those events happened, because for them to just like totally lift the rug out from under us and be like, everything you just saw was nonsense, doesn't matter, that would be kind of lame. I do think that all of that stuff happened to a degree, maybe not exactly the way it happened, and I do think that Arthur killed him or them. And I think that what we saw at the end of the episode was basically like the state of being. I don't know if it's like a limbo or an afterlife or something, or maybe just kind of like, you know how like they say that your life flashes before your eyes when you die, something like that, where it's like he's dying and everything that's happening in his mind is just kind of happening, but there is some kind of supernatural element where it is some kind of afterlife or a limbo of some kind. And whatever the hippo goddess is, she's kind of come in there, and I think in the next episode she's basically going to go, hey, I believe you, Arthur's cringe, he's trying to resurrect Amit, I'm going to help you. And I don't know if she's going to like revive him or something, or what exactly is going to happen here, but yeah, I don't think that everything has been a facade, a fib. I do think that all of that stuff, everything that we've seen has happened to a certain degree. Oh gosh, I'm out of focus. Put me in focus. Put me in focus. Oh Jesus, this is not cool. I don't like this. I don't appreciate this. Okay, looks like I'm okay. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. Can you leave me in focus, camera? Like, what is your problem? I don't understand. I don't understand your issues with me. Why do you hate me? Why? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué me tratas así? Okay, geez, I'm not. the joys of doing a live program. Okay. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts right now. Let me know what you think in the comments down below of what exactly is going on, because I'll be interested to know. Unless you've like read comics or something and you kind of know what's going to happen, then I don't want to know. Don't tell me. Leave me alone. Let me experience the show for myself. Okay. Next up, I also started playing Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Yeah, I don't know. I bought this game a while back, and I was like, I've been wanting to play it, and I just decided to play it. You know, it's really fun. I'll say this. From a story point of view, it's really weird because it seems like it's a remake of the first Mirror's Edge. I thought it was a sequel, but it feels. I kind of looked into it because I was like, I feel like this is the same story from the first game, and apparently it is. Apparently they were like, hey, we're not gonna make a sequel. We're just gonna do it again. It's really weird. But that being said, the gameplay is still really fun. Like, basically, takes place in like a futuristic future. What am I even saying? It takes place kind of like a dystopia or whatever. Or not really a dystopia. It's kind of like a future. It's a future that's like where society is still like intact, and it's not like, you know, it's not like it's not like society has crumbled, or anything like that. There hasn't been a robot revolution, but basically, corporations control everything, and you play as a girl who's like part of a rebel group, who's like trying to mess with corporations. You know, it's one of those types of deals. And the gameplay is all about parkour. You know, you're parkouring around the city, and that's really the selling point of the game, because the parkour is super fun. You know, you can run fast, you can run along walls, you can, you know, roll on the ground when you land. It's parkour stuff, and it is really fun and really satisfying. And yeah, I like parkour. Parkour is fun. Parkour in video games is fun, and this is fun. So, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, enjoying it so far. Weirded out by the fact that it's just a reboot of the first game. But yeah, I mean, if you're like, hey, I want to play a parkour game, this is definitely a decent one to go with. All right, last thing that I watched. I literally just before coming home to do this show, I watched The Northman. This is a film directed by Robert Eggers. He previously directed The Witch and The Lighthouse, two films that I enjoyed, but I didn't really understand. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I straight up didn't really understand what happened in them. I will say this: this is the most understandable Robert Eggers film. It's pretty straightforward. It's got a plot that you can just follow. Crazy, crazy stuff. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Basically it's a revenge plot where a kid, his dad gets killed, and he's like, I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna kill you, and that's the plot. And it's a really enjoyable movie. It's not the most, like, it's pretty predictable, I guess. Or not necessarily predictable, but like you get the gist of what the plot is, and it is that. But it is in Robert Eggers fashion. It looks beautiful. The performances are fantastic. It just has a very distinct, like, Robert Eggers feel to it, where it's like kind of disturbing. It's like brutal and grotesque in some ways. And it's really cool. It's a really, really good time. Also some pretty decent action in it as well. I'd been hearing a lot about the action. I was a little underwhelmed. I was like, okay, like, this is cool, but there's not that much in it, and I wasn't like blown away by what was in it. But it is decent for it's cool. There are definitely some cool sequences, but yeah, all the performances are fantastic. One of the Skarsgårds, he plays the lead, and he's great in it. Anya Taylor-Joy's good in it. Nicole Kidman's good in it. The guy next to Nicole Kidman is there. I mean, well, they're both good in it. One of them is Ethan Hawke. Everybody's good in it. So definitely I'd recommend The Northman. It's the Robert Eggers film that I've enjoyed, or that I've understood the most. But I think it's his least interesting one. I think I'll say that. But still, definitely still enjoyable, and I highly recommend it. And by the way, I do want to mention, for all of you people, because this is a big trend on Twitter or whatever, like, film Twitter is always like, oh, the Disney's killing original films. Oh, there's no room for original films in theaters. Blah. Right now, in theaters, you can watch Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Northman, and The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. 3 original films. 3 auteur-type films. Well, I don't know if the director of Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is, but Nicolas Cage, he is who he is, 3 original films that you supposedly want. I hope you're going out and watching them. I hope you're not just saying that you hate Marvel and that they're killing cinema, and then you're just not watching these movies whenever they're given to you. Because that people say this, but it's like, here's the thing. Am I gonna sit here and say that, like, that it isn't a problem that, more like non-Marvel, DC, and Star Wars films often, or not even Marvel, DC, but it isn't a problem that unless you're like a big blockbuster film, right, that it's hard for you to gain traction at the box office these days. Yeah, it is a problem. But it's not the fault of Disney. Like, it's not like they've done anything nefarious. I mean, I know there were some reports of maybe them like manipulating movie theaters or something, but I haven't seen that happening recently. Really, at the end of the day, the real problem is that people just don't want to watch other movies. That's the problem. Like here's the thing. Let's say Disney did take up all the theaters. It's not like, and they filled up. Well, guess what? That means that there's an audience for those movies. Right now, I went to a screening of The Northman. There are only like 4 other people there. It's not like it's not Disney's fault. That's not the Batman's fault. That's not Sonic 2's fault. Because guess what? If I went to a screening of The Northman and it was packed, out of the hizzy house. And, there were people that wanted to watch The Northman that couldn't watch it. If that was the case, then you know what? I'd be with you guys. I'd be like, hey, why is it that there aren't more screenings for The Northman? But that's not the case. Sure, there may be less screenings for The Northman than there were for The Batman on its opening day. But guess what? If you wanted to watch The Northman today, you could have watched it, at least at my theater. But people didn't want to. So, if you're one of those people that complains and, tries to make Disney a big bad villain because they're killing independent cinema or whatever, I really hope you watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I really hope you went to go see The Northman. But the thing is that just judging by how well it's going to do at the box office, my guess is that you didn't. My guess is that you went to watch Spider-Man No Way Home, you went to watch The Batman, you went to watch Sonic 2, and you're still complaining. So, I don't know. I'm on a soapbox. Let me just get off of it and say